Балам. Hey, балам.
Son, wake up. Today is a holiday. For every Muslim, it is an important day. First of all, we should go to the mosque and take part in the Ait namaz. Hurry up.
Kurban Ait günü qanday amallar жасалған абзал? Kurban Ait günü ең алдымен адам Ait namazға келуден алдын
Before going to the mosque, it is advisable to spray perfume on the clothes. This is encourageable from the religious point of view. It is also necessary when one goes to a public place with a large crowd of people. After the completion of Ait namaz, people greet and sincerely congratulate each other. It should also be noted that these days, Kazakhs have a tradition to visit each other and congratulate on the Kurban Ait holiday.
Орындарға жуынып, әдемі иісті сулар сеуіп келуді құптайды. Сол үшін бұл жер келген уақытта не жуынып, шайынып, адамдармен амандасып, адамдарды сол мерекемен құттықтап, намаз оқып, Ait намазынан кейін біздің қазақ халқында да бар нәрсе бұл айттау деген нәрсе бар.
Families prepare for this day well in advance. Today, this father will tell his son about the meaning of the Kurban Ait holiday.
Kurban Ait'ta da, Orazа Ait'ta da Ait namazı оқылады, мешітте жамағатпен оқылады.
During the celebration of Kurban Ait and Orazа Ait, mosques are always crowded. People pray there. They are preparing for this all over the country. They put yurts. The imams explain to people the meaning of the holiday Kurban Ait.
Kurban Ait пен Ораза Айттың айырмашылығы, Ораза Айтта мешітке келер кезде үйден бір құрма, су, немесе бір тәм татып келген.
There is a significant difference between Kurban Ait and Orazа Ait. During Orazа Ait, before going to the mosque, one should eat a few dates and drink water. On the holiday of Kurban Ait, on the contrary, a person should come to the mosque on an empty stomach. After praying in a mosque, he can bring the food at home to his family.
Үйге келіп, барын жесе болады.
This is Hazrat Sultan Mosque. It looks very special during the holidays. Believers gather here in the morning. The sounds of prayer are heard in the district.
سبح لله ما في السماء
الله أكبر الله أكبر.
Numerous parishioners of the mosque lined up in rows, prepared to perform the prayer. The Hazrat Sultan Mosque, which has no analogues in the Central Asian region at the moment, is very crowded. Not everyone can be placed inside, so a lot of worshippers can be seen on the outer territory of the religious building. Thousands of hands move at the same time, as if swinging the universe together, as if reflecting the unity of beating and the general rhythm of hearts.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
According to the system of Islamic law, Sharia, collective holiday prayers in Kurban Ait and Orazа Ait begin early in the morning at dawn. Namaz, dedicated to the holiday of Kurban Ait, is read early so that people have time to go and perform the ritual of sacrifice.
Toxta. 75.
Мына мынандайлар сатылып жатыр, ада.
Қаншадан бар? 30.
Жоқ, ада 35 бар. Қалды ғой. 45-50-ден сатылып жатыр. 35 деген жоқ ағыз.
Қуана алама, ондайда опты өтсін ау деп.
The livestock markets are busy, especially during the holiday. Butchers sharpen their knives, getting ready for a big job. There are many sheep and cattle in the pens.
Бұл Құрбан айт мерекесі, бұл
Kurban Ait holiday is filled with people rejoicing and having fun. The people should be able to rejoice and delight others. The Prophet said that when a person gives another person joy, it is considered as one of the best worldly acts noted by the Creator. Truly, Kurban Ait is a holiday of universal joy.
осы Құрбан айт мерекесі сол адамдарға қуаныш сыйлайтын мереке.
How much does this meat cost?
Еркек қой.
Иә, елге тоқ құрбандық дейді ғой.
Құрбандыққа шалынған малды үшке бөлуге бұйырады.
The meat of a sacrificial animal is divided into 3 parts. One remains with the owner, the second is intended for guests, and the third is distributed free of charge to the poor people and those in need.
Қуану керек. Оған құрбандық шалу мүмкіндігін берді.
Kurban Ait is one of the holy Muslim holidays. It occurs 70 days after the Oraza Ait and lasts for 3 days. Its difference lies in the need for ritual sacrifice. This is stated in the Holy Quran. Allah does not need flesh from the sacrifice. Through ritual, the power of human faith is revealed. This holiday has a long history. According to some reports, in the Central Asian region, it began to be celebrated in the 10th to 13th centuries with the advent of the Islamic religion. And ethnographers and historians argue that the ritual of sacrifice existed in ancient human communities long before the emergence of world religions.
Әлем тарихына қарайтын болсақ, бұл тек қана мынау ислам дінін емес, одан бұрын жаңа Библия дейміз ғой, Авраамда емес, я Ибрахим пайғамбарда емес, одан бұрын түрлі діндерде, одан ертеректерде мысалы енді.
If we look at history, we will find references to sacrifices not only in Islam, but also in the Christian religion of the Prophet Abraham, as well as in earlier beliefs. In the history of Kazakhstan, in the Saka period, in the ancient burial places, you can find sacrifice horses. In the burial mounds, sacrificial horses are buried. This was practiced in the Saka and Turkic tribes. It is known that during the burial of the Egyptian pharaohs, their companions, wives, concubines, slaves, and servants were buried alive with them. This is also one of the types of human sacrifices. In the Indian tribes of the Aztecs, Mayans, and Incas living in Latin America, some of the children selected were sacrificed. In our religion, there is a mention that the Prophet Ibrahim was ready to sacrifice his own son in the name of Allah.
Оларда мысалы жаңағыдай, ол мысалы жаңағы ең киелі дейміз ғой, оны майя мәдениетінде мысалы сол инкаларда мысалы өздерінің балаларын құрбандыққа шалу. Сондықтан да мүмкін солай жаңағы бізге өнделіп келді ме екен. Дінде бізде айтылды ғой, яғни Ибрахим пайғамбар өз баласын жаңағы Алланың жолына құрбандық шалуға барды.
Тарихта баршамызға белгілі, Ибрахим пайғамбар түс көреді. Түсінде өзінің жалғыз ұлы қартайған шағында көрген ұлын құрбандыққа шалып жатқанын көреді.
We all know the story of the Prophet Ibrahim. He sees a dream in which he sacrifices his son, Ismail, who was born when he was old. The dream is repeated the second time. However, Ibrahim does not take it into consideration. And only the third time he realizes that it was a divine revelation. Therefore, the father and son were ready to make a sacrifice, but Allah stopped their ordeal, declaring such a sacrifice unnecessary. Instead, a lamb was sent down from heaven. Allah ordered to sacrifice it instead of the son of the Prophet Ibrahim. After this, it was from the Prophet Ismail, the son of Ibrahim, that the tradition of such a sacrifice was born throughout the Orthodox world.
Соңында Ибрахим пайғамбар ашуланып, жанындағы тас тұрады. Тасты пышақ екіге бөледі, бірақ балаға пышақ өтпейді. Неге? Бұл да Алла тағаланың бір даналығы бар. Алайда Алла субханала ва тағаланың бұл жерде даналығы Абрахим пайғамбарды сынады. Абрахим пайғамбар сынақтан өтті. Және Абрахим пайғамбардың ұлы да сынақтан өтті. Абрахим пайғамбарға көктен қошқар түсірді. Және де ол қошқарды Исмаил пайғамбардың орнына құрбандыққа шалуға әмір етті. Міне содан бастап ислам әлемінде ғасырлар бойы келе жатқан осы құрбандық бар. Сол Исмаил пайғамбардан келе жатқан бұл не? Бұл сүннет.
For our ancestors who lived in close harmony with nature in their daily lives, such rituals were widely practiced. They believed in the mystery and omnipotence of natural forces, and in this way tried to achieve their mercy.
Тек қана құрбан кезінде, құрбан айт кезінде ғана емес, сонымен қатар
Sacrifice is practiced not only during the holiday of Kurban Ait, but also at other times. For example, in the southern regions, where the population is engaged in agriculture, such a rite is carried out in order to ask the god for the abundance of rain for a good harvest. Farmers have long been aware of this. For this, there is a special term, tasattuk, a prayer asking for rain during a drought by sacrifice. Perhaps there are the remnants of Tengrianism currently in the identity of the Kazakh people. This is one of the types of traditional Muslim sacrifice. It is noted that in most cases, the prayers of needy people reached heaven and their wishes came true. After the ceremony, the earth was saturated with the long-awaited life-giving moisture.
الذين يبخلون ويأمرون الناس بالبخل ومن يتول فإن
For example, the famous Kazakh composer Kurban Ait Joly talked about places in western Kazakhstan, Nar Soygan or Tuye Soygan. There he sacrificed a camel, presented to him by one of the rich who liked his music. The sacrificial meat was divided between the relatives of the steppe musician. As an ethnologist, I want to say that the ritual of sacrifice can be regarded as one of the forms of charity. So the word Kurban is like proximity to the Creator. Kurban from Arabic translates as rapprochement. More specifically, it is an animal intended for sacrifice for religious purposes.
Құрбандық шалу, бұл құрбандықты бас бостандығы бар. Және де бай адамдарға өзіне және бала шағасына.
This rite provides for and takes into account the material capabilities of people. Wealthier men should also perform the rite on behalf of their wives and children. One sheep can be slaughtered by one person. A cow or a camel can be presented on behalf of 7 people. People who do not possess material wealth are exempted from this obligation.
Қарыз алып, немесе басқа да жолдармен шалуға міндетті емес.
Бізде қазақта бір керемет сөз бар, мақал, өлі разы болмай тірі байымайды деген. Біз осыған барлық мынау құрбан шалатын адамдарды қарасам, енді осы орта буын болсын.
Kazakhs have a proverb: a person living in this world will not achieve prosperity until his late ancestors are satisfied with him. Therefore, the ritual of sacrificing an animal is done primarily in the name of the mercy of Allah, as well as the remembrance of ancestors and deceased relatives. There is a belief among the people that after this, prosperous descendants will be accompanied by prosperity and peace. People who go to the bazaar are looking for more well-fed cattle. The choice is aplenty. In the days of Ait, in the city of Nur Sultan, more than 15 places were reserved for this rite. All procedures are performed immediately. Slaughterhouses are regularly checked. All the necessary conditions are created here. Since yesterday, the number of cars loaded with cattle has increased. According to local merchants, they mainly come here from East Kazakhstan, Karaganda and Akmola regions.
Құрбандыққа шалынатын малдар бұл қой, ешкі және де қара мал, сиыр.
Sacrificial animals are sheep, goats, cows, and camels. Other type of cattle is not suitable. Camels must be 5 years old. Cows are over 2 years old. Sheep and goats of a year old. However, our Prophet claimed that a 6-month-old lamb is suitable for this cause. It should be noted that sacrificial animals should not have physical flaws. To be blind, earless, lame, tailless, emaciated, and exhausted. They must be normal.
Аман болу керек. Мысалы, көзі көрмеу, құлағы жоқ, құйрығы жоқ, немесе арақ, жүре алмай қалған, ақсақ болмау керек. Бұл айтқан уақытта жеуге жарамды, ешқандай айыбы жоқ мал болу керек.
In the sacrifice, all four legs of the animal are not bound. This means that it is sacrificed voluntarily. One of the important conditions is that the knife must be sharpened so that the cattle do not suffer during slaughter. In this case, the head of the animal is located in the direction of Qibla. A prayer is uttered and the knife moves. The owner of the sacrificial animal holds its legs, making easy of its suffering.
بذات الصدور آمنوا بالله ورسوله وأنفقوا مما جعلكم مستخلفين فيه فالذين آمنوا منكم.
Осы құрбан айтта әкелер, аналар бала шағасына мейлінше әдемі киімдер алып беріп, таза. Ата-аналар бала шағасына жаңа киімдер алып беріп, оларға
On this day, parents should give their children new clothes and tell them about the history and significance of the holiday. Our ancestors said so. Also, children were given small amounts of money after the end of the holiday prayer. All this forms a pleasant childhood impression of the expectation of the holiday. As a child, we were looking forward to it. On this day, parents give us gifts. A festive table was set. A joyful atmosphere reigned in the house. In rural areas, people visited each other and congratulated.
Үйде дастархандар өте әдемі, ерекше жасалатын. Тағамдардың дәмді тағамдар жасалатын. Бұл айтқан уақытта бізге бұл мерекенің мереке екендігін көрсетеді. Және де жас кезімізде әрине әлде де бар нәрсе ауыл жерлерде ол бір-бірінің үйін айттап, айтша ішіп, бұл айтқан уақытта әңгімелесіп, бір-бірімен көрісіп, бір-бірімен жағдай сұрасып жататын күндер.
After the ceremony, the meat is divided into 3 parts. What is intended for distribution is given to the people in need. One part remains with the owner and he must eat it with his family.
كريم يوم ترى المؤمنين والمؤمنات يسعى
Kurban Ait is a sacred holiday. Since 2005, it was set as a day off in our republic. All over the world, it is celebrated in different ways. For example, in Morocco, Indonesia and Malaysia, after solemn prayer in a mosque, people go out and start to sing and dance like at a carnival. In the Kingdom of Morocco, sacrifices begin at dawn. Like us, people dress smartly and go to prayer. After that, they visit the burial places of their relatives. In the United Arab Emirates, no one works on the day of Kurban Ait. The festive event takes place for 2 weeks.
فالتمسوا نورا فضرب بينهم بسور له باب باطنه فيه الرحمة وظاهره من قبله العذاب ينادونهم ألم نكن معكم قالوا بلى ولكنكم فتنتم أنفسكم
Every year, Muslims around the world sacrifice about 20 million cattle and 70 million goats and sheep. In Nur Sultan alone, thousands of cattle are slaughtered. Unfortunately, in such an environment, excess of slaughtering are sometimes allowed.
لا يؤخذ منكم فدية ولا من الذين كفروا مأواكم.
Жалпы құрбандыққа мал шалған уақытта адам баласы мән беру керек болған нәрселер бар.
In the performance of the rite, it is important to respect the received good and there should be no excesses. For example, many people try to deliver meat to nursing homes, to orphanages, or to other places where there are people in need. This is a good deed. However, at this point, it turns out that the food storage areas are already full of imported meat and there is nowhere to store it. But some people, despite this, leave the meat here, thinking that the most important rite is done. Some of the meat has been delivered to those in need and a charitable deed has been completed. However, it is not like that. After all, this product is absolutely unclaimed. There is excessiveness here. You should pay attention to this. After all, Allah gave us the opportunity and we must carefully use it. It is believed that in Kurban Ait, believers can approach God and ask for the health of their loved ones. It is very important to give each other joy and warmth, and even better, set the dastarkhan and invite guests.